Hello everybody, welcome to Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large, right in the middle of the year. It's round 6 of course, and it is Aston Historic, aka AS4, in our UF1s. And tonight I am leading the show. It's me, Eoin Harmon, and beside me in the commentary box it's Miika Särkkinen. Miika, how's it going?
Yeah, good evening everyone. It's going fine as usual. What a nice Tuesday evening and exciting race coming up.
Yeah, it's hard to hide the potential downsides of this combo. I'm sure a fair few people have said how bizarre, but yeah, it was nominated and we have it now right in the middle of June here. So we don't have our usual fuel and tire strategies to think about, because this car can make it very easily on a single tank, and the road tires should be no problem at all for our drivers. But yeah, that's just the way the dances or the chips have fallen, as Number was the valid nominee to pick this track, so he made his choice, and at least he is here to sample it with everybody else. So yeah, this is an enormous track at the best of times, 5 miles or 8.1 kilometers, 20 turns in all. But yeah, in these UF1s you're going to be battling for minutes at a time, it has to be said. We'll look at qualifying in a minute just to show exactly what I mean. This is an extremely long track in a car that boasts a 1 litre engine, 4-cylinder of course, front wheel drive, 94 brake horsepower, and 600 kilos, just over 1,300 pounds. So yeah, it is not going to be a thrill a minute, mayhem event, Miika, but I'm sure we still have plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, it's a very large track, a lot of straights, and it's a slow car, to be said. So all the exits from the corners are important, and there's like 3 braking zones in the whole lap, so not a lot of action, but maybe we'll get some side by side going on.
Yeah, so your ankle or your wrist will be given plenty of exercise holding the accelerator. But yeah, Gabor, the all-conquering championship leader at the minute, he's the only one in triple figures. Ricardo not in the server this evening, so the odds of him being able to increase his lead in the championship heading into the second half of the year, I would rank them extremely high. There's Tamuli there, one of our Zafiralis representatives, in 3rd position. Rony himself there in 4th, so it's one of his best seasons in quite some time. And then the rest of the top 10, we've Dodislaw, Johnny SVK, Mad Jester, Stephen Martin, Twin Cam, and then Race Green's Nozzle. As we scroll across the championship table, a lot of drivers have registered reasonable scores there. 20th has a tie there for between 2 drivers on 24 points. But the names will carry on for another page at least. So we do have plenty of ties, but there we go. 56 drivers have scored at least a point, and this is it would have been after 5 rounds, of course. So pretty good average turnout, that's for sure. But today it's looking decent. We can see we have capacity for 40 cars and 40 drivers, but in qualifying we've hit 29 times, but maybe not all of them would be classified. That's a bit of a concern. But Trespasser has shone the brightest in the hours qualifying with a 3-minute 37.12, beating championship leader Gabor by 2/10. Unite ready to help out his teammate there in 3rd, with TJ Number completing the top 5. And now onto the there we are, it's refreshed there for me now, and now back to the page 2. You can see a lot of drivers are way outside, even 107%, so they will not be able to take part. So 25 times are valid. Hopefully see plenty of drivers being able to complete this race, Miika, over an hour and roughly 15 minutes of action coming our way.
Yeah, it's gonna be 20 laps of this pure racing. Here we are, standing, waiting for the lights come up.
Yeah, so it's going to be quite a long haul. They'll be on power for quite a long time, but maybe gear ratio choice could make a difference. Here we go, green lights and away. Oh, Trespassers bogged down very badly, and Unite will just swoop in and take 2nd position for free. And you can also see TJ's off to a slow start. Mad Jester looking quick, but it's up to the 3rd, 4th gear. This is when it really gets interesting. And there we go, 3rd gear for most drivers. Is there anyone able to get a slipstream, perhaps? Trespasser on his way back up. He's got 3 contenders in front of him. And now towards the back, we have Omar, we've Magic, T-Bug, Hermione, Johnny, Steve Martin, and Orgai all getting neck and neck here, Miika.
As we saw in the start, Trespasser, he had a slow start, but he might have opted to go for a longer first gear, which allows him to carry more average time on the lap. There are a couple of corners, or I think 1 or 2 corners, where you actually need the first gear. So if you have set it too low, you'll need to go with second gear, and that's not very optimal. So you might want to sacrifice the start. And here you can see all the climbing up that chicane. That's very neat looking. Driving the car around,
Yeah.
Everyone's clean through the no contact
So sector 1 is just at this chicane here, after Faux Rouge. So on a quick lap, it's going to take a minute for these drivers to make it that far. But in fairness to Unite, he's not intimidated by his teammate. He's getting quite close. Just see them in the foreground. And now flat out again, the long right-hander. Usually there is a chicane there, but at Historic it's not required. And Unite on the high side, Beaky could make a move for the race lead, using that slipstream to his advantage, but Gabor has his car right where he needs it.
Unite tries to hold on up on the outside, but doesn't really have the aura speed over Gabor. That's a solid line. Meanwhile, Trespasser has made it back to P3, and he's leading the rest of the pack here. With Rony and Marks following very closely to each other. Marks trying to look for an overtake, taking all the little slipstream that you can get with this car, throwing himself on the outside and hoping to have the overspeed to get alongside.
Oh, bit of contact there. Risky, but Rony, you can definitely pick out his UF1 a mile away. TJ and Marks, winners Marks has made a bit of contact there. Rony suffers the big repercussions there. And yeah, this is almost the end of lap 1 of 21 scheduled laps. So that tells you all you need to know. 21 laps. Sounds like an RTF4 regular quantity of laps, but no, we're going for over an hour here. Neck and neck again between our sidest teammates. Gabor turning his head just to make sure he can see where his teammate is at all times. Unite, if you can get the braking point here, the second to last proper braking point of the 3, can he find a way through? No, he decides that Gabor should have the priority, and he may try again into chicane, which can be flat, but of course if someone is a bit slow in front of you, then you do have to brake.
Yeah, and the chicane is one of the places on the whole lap where you want to touch the brake a little bit, just to make it turn a little better. Not much braking, but it's just slide tap on the brakes, and then you just throw the car in there and hope for the best, try to find a good line. Ooh, that's unlucky hit with the tires. That will eat a lot of
that's a big hit.
Straight line speed.
And Rony has lived up to his one of his favorite strategies, which is just to get the pit stop out of the way on lap 1. And I suppose he doesn't need any fuel. Tires should be absolutely fine, so you can just sit there and wait for the 10 seconds mandatory pit stop. And he'll be well clear of all the traffic, so he should have clear air. And there we go, 10.44 second stop. To turn 1, 25 seconds later into the lap. Matt Jester has the outside, but Michael should be able to cover him off using the long parabolica. Yeah, that UF1 is going to understeer heavily, but it grips in time. Marks in the middle. Can he find the moment he needs against Matt Jester at the very least? No, he's going to look for TJ as an unusual ally here. And Matt Jester has a little bit of momentum now before Faux Rouge. Let's see how they get on, Miika.
And Mars gave a little bump draft for TJ there, trying to push himself on front of Manchester as well, but Manchester was well alongside and was able to take the inside line to the chicane. But he's still very much under attack from Marks. It's once again a long straight coming up, and you can get a little bit of slipstream here. And yeah, it seems like Marks is again going for the bump draft, pushing Manchester, gaining more speed for both of them. And so is DJ with it's Michael going on of DJ.
Yeah, so that tactic is definitely within everyone's mind. I'm sure it is very much the logical thing to do. Work together as a unit, get these bump drafts going, and big understeer there from Michael and TJ. They're able to keep it on the circuit. Dirty tires on this car, I don't think it will be detrimental because they're road tires, but if you way overdo it, you can see Marks is going to cut into the gravel, and Number has much higher speed. Contact made, and Marks just ends up completely bamboozled, and he's got more pressure to his left-hand side. So T-Bug and Tamuli need to watch each other's back here to make sure there's no undue contact. So there we are. Marks has suffered very badly for just one cut of the chicane with 2 of his tires.
Yeah, that contact could have ended badly, but luckily for Marks it was only a minor slowdown. Lost a couple places, but he's still very much in the fight. What comes into bump drafting, I want to remind that it is a very much allowed tactic here. You are allowed to bump draft. It's not necessarily prohibited, but in case of any contact, it will deemed as a intentional contact, and you might get penalized if there is any cautions happening after bump drafting.
Yep, of course. Open wheelers is where you are forbidden from bump drafting, as those cars are just not suited with their aero profiles with the front wing, for example. That would just break in real life if you just tried bump drafting someone. So yes, it's forbidden. But in these tin tops, or in some cases no tin top at all, they're just open roofs. Some people have elected just to have roll bars. So whatever your configuration of choice is, then bump drafting is more than encouraged here in these cars. They're well able to take a few hits. We're seeing some good lap times registered as Magic comes into pit lane to get his 10 seconds mandatory out of the way. So we now have a yardstick for Rony to compare with here, Miika. So I imagine it's going to be close between those two.
Yep, Rony actually, he might be suffering because he has been driving alone and not drafting with like each other. But he might get Magic as a friend, so they could draft each other and build up, get the lost time back. So it might be a team tactic in the end. Rony's made it back through.
Rony's undercut pays off. Of course, these two teammates, I think they should be interacting with each other to make sure they can actually help each other when Magic's fully back in his groove. They should definitely work together and ensure all these later pit stoppers they can be under pressure from the race green duo. And there we go, minute 1s, minute 2s for most drivers through sector 1. A bit wide there for Number, the driver who has nominated this combo. He's P6 at the minute, all by himself, thankfully, but he will lose a mile an hour or 2 when he took too much of the grass. Side by side, if anything, we've Martin Kapal and we've Omar. Martin is ahead at the moment. And then we've Martins and Jam. They're about 2/10 apart at the minute, but Martins will need to pick his racing line. He's going to defend in the middle, and Jam could break a little bit later and use the high side. Contact.
Oh, and it's contact.
Yeah, Jam is going to
Jam wide there.
Heavily there.
Yeah, Martin's able to keep the position with that contact. Jam sent a little bit wide there, lost a bit of time. He should be able to catch up back to Martins. But back to this situation, this is Crash looking on Harmon. Harmon usually a back marker very far in the last places, but now he's on P12, P13. It's going pretty well for him this time around. Just a slight touch there with Crash, but Crash is through, and now it's it's Martin Cabal joining the fight, making it a 3-way.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic lap so far, 2 minutes 25, sector 2 there, whereas Crash, he's about 7/10 lower, and then Hermione, getting distracted with his battling, has lost a second this lap so far, and he automatically pulls over for Capel. He realized it's better just get an extra boost rather than providing it. So there could be a 3 wide situation here into the hairpin right coming. No, it'll be Hermione sitting back and wait and see what these two performers get on. Yeah, he's going to hug the apex very tightly, and that puts Martin Capel out of range again. So yeah, good tactical driving for Hermione. Maybe his choice of gears. I think he prefers the top speed Miika. He's getting pounded on these fast acceleration points.
That didn't look very good exit from the corner, and now it's Omar also joining. But this is Unit. He's going side Gabor, and it's Unit taking the lead for now. But Gabor, he's still there. He's right there, and so is Trespasser. He's not far away. If these guys, if they hinder each other at all, they might lose it to Trespasser. So they really need to get their teamwork together.
Yeah, completely in agreement there, Miika. They have to put their differences aside now. I suppose all fun when it's by themselves. But with Trespasser, the pole sitter, he's now got his confidence back after being bogged down. He is in the chase. Speaking of the chase, we have Omar. So he's now all of a sudden caught up by these 3 drivers we witnessed a moment ago. He falls way back now. So that is a horrible feeling to know you've been outdriven in just the first 2 corners, and you have lost 3 positions as a result. Nevertheless, he could fight back. Up, Faux Rouge. Oh, crash. Just the big risk taker there, but now back to the lead battle. Still no chance for Unite to get through. It's still so close between them. And Unite will probably back off and try again later in the lap, unless he's got the inside line open. No, it's not going to be a commitment here. Yeah, he's going to back off and wait his turn. And what else could happen here? Trespasser, good lap so far. He has lost a little bit to Unite thanks to that slipstream, Miika, but it's definitely a 3-way battle so far.
Yeah, I'm sure if it's the Sidus guys fighting each other, or if it's the choice of longer gear races for Trespasser, but he's driving better laps as the top 2. So this might become exciting very soon. But we have still this lower battle going on for P14, which is led by Crash right now. And it's still Harmon right there behind him. It's J. Martins who has joined them in this battle with the yellow car. And it's an intense 3-way battle here going on. Martin's looking for the inside line of Harmon, and he's sending it. And Harmon, he's not fighting it too hard. He's just there making the best as he can.
Yeah, so we're not even at lap 5 yet. About 10 minutes plus of racing, about that sort of range. Bump drafting here. Unite, he's got to be careful not to take his teammate off course, and he's let himself down there. He's going to be totally open to an attack, and Trespasser is just taken absolute thrills with that. He gets his payback for what happened on the launch after the red lights went out, and Trespasser is now in contention to win this thing.
Yeah, Trespasser very well on the way to get that lead position from Gabor. Let's see how this straight turns out. There's a noticeable gap between them. I'm not sure if Trespasser can get any slipstream from that far away, but he's definitely following him straight, like right behind him, in chance of any slipstream that could benefit him. That's only 4 lengths between those 2 guys, but you can definitely tell the length between the cars.
Yeah, here is lap 5 for our race leaders, and the chance now for P8. It's at stake. Here's Matt Jaster in the orange and black UF1. He's got Tamuli right where he wants him, but of course there is the chance for the switchback, or else in Tamuli's case he's going to break a fraction of a second later and stay on the high side, tempting the grass on his left as much as he dares. But this battle will continue for another 20 seconds as the full acceleration will carry on all the way to Faux Rouge. But defense so far so good for Damuli. He's making sure he doesn't lose out on that 8th position. Up the crest they go, all of the bumps on the way up, and there we go. Should be nice and flat to the chicane onto the back straight.
Yeah, here it's J. Martins who's made a little progress. He's got past Omar as well, and that's Harmon just behind him. Oh, and Omar goes into the tires. Oh, that's unlucky for him. He can recover though, but he lost a lot of time there.
Look at his rear right suspension. He's pretty much collapsed the spring, so he needs to pit for repairs. I think as soon as possible. Like maybe he could turn it okay on the left-handers. Maybe that won't be so bad. But I think that car is going to drag very badly if he's not careful.
Yeah, and not very good condition for that car. Let's see what he decides. I would suggest looking up from outside that he should beat this lap. But hard to say. Here Manchester is still just behind Emily, giving a little bump draft, not finding a place to go alongside and try to overtake. It's a tricky one. It's a drafting battle, but you get a lot of turns in between, so you can just throw the car anywhere. You have to be mindful about that. And, oh, what's happened there? Manchester slowing down a lot.
Oh no, yeah, he's completely off course here. He's damaged the engine a little bit. I don't get the precise figure, but he's completely lost drive, and he's letting everyone through. I hope he hasn't underfueled the car. Oh, he has. He's underfueled. He is out of petrol. Ah, dear. He forgot to change for qualifying, so I'm afraid Manchester will go no further in this race unless he telepits and starts again from scratch. No, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, he's still trying to roll, but there's way too long.
Yeah, it's too long a lap.
Get to the pits. And I doubt anyone is gonna give any push at this stage of the race.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, so we will have 20 cars remaining here as Manchester cannot possibly reach the pits safely. And yeah, that's a great loss for this one. We were really enjoying what Manchester was bringing to the table. Fastest lap there from Trespassers. He battles for the victory here. We see winners Marks is in the pits, ready to serve his 10 seconds mandatory. These drivers on screen are going to all pass him on track now. Let's see what this time is for Marks. 10.6 on a refuel. So actually Marks wanted to fuel quite light and make sure he could actually fill up the tank a little bit for his 10 seconds. Whereas I imagine most drivers who have remembered have filled their tank that they can just go to the end on. So yeah, an interesting call there by Marks.
It might be also just set the fueling so that it's around 10 seconds, so you don't need to manually worry about 10 seconds coming up. You can just automatically launch after the fueling is done. Could be a tactic.
Yeah.
But anyway, refueling is maybe a rarer side on this occasion.
Yeah, I mean, if it were me, yeah, you don't really notice significant fuel load on this car. It is a small enough tank anyway. It's about 10 kilos, so yeah, you don't really notice that on a car like this. And I suppose Omar did not elect to pit for repairs. He just wanted to refuel and on his way again. So he does feel the suspension is not costing him any significant time. Whereas if he repaired it, it would be another 30 seconds or more just stationary. So he must feel he can bring this car home safely. And these are the kind of drivers he needs to be worried about, Omar, if he wants to get back in the race, because Jam is so close to Hermani. Jam is going to to the low side. He wants to get the maximum use of the curb here. Yeah, he's going to grab plenty of that. Harmon, if you can get on throttle now, it should be possible. Oh, and look at this. Martin's in the middle. He wants to snag them both in one go. And if
That's
anything,
tight
Jam's in
squeeze.
the worst position. Oh, yes. Look at that.
Oh, he's made it. He's got through. That's a brilliant move. Oh, wow.
Exceptional.
Good job
Well
from
done.
J. Martins.
And we've lost Martin Capel. He's disconnected from the race. And that leaves us now with the 19 cars. Yeah, they're kind of falling off a little bit right now. Not even a third of the way there just yet. We're nearly there. Slowly but surely. But yeah, no fault of the drivers. Are giving everything they've got in this UF1. Let's see. On board with Hermani. He's got a massive run on Jam here. Jam should stay still. Maybe let him through for the counter attack. If it were me, I'd let him through now and try and get him on the start finish straight. But yeah, he's going to try and distract Hermani for as long as he can. Fate decide what happens next.
Yeah, Jam is just hanging around there, not going to lift his gas, let Harmon through. Will he attack on this corner? It seems like he's going for the inside line. Yes, he does. And that should allow him to get past. And, well, Martin is still not too far away. If they could work together, they could catch him up during the next straight even. But it is up to see. Oh, they're sliding heavy. Oh, Harmon lost the control. Oh, and that's all the straight line speed gone.
Hermani, his momentum is absolutely wrecked on this lap. So Orgai can just glide on through, and he'll have no pressure from behind. And here is a shot at the race lead. Gabor never conceded to Unite for very long, but if Trespasser can get through, then he'll make sure he can use his qualifying prowess. The extra couple of tenths a lap that he has, he could make Gabor really sweat here. Up Faux Rouge, and yeah, it's going to be an attack heading into the long Parabolica, and then definitely the braking zone, one of the few braking zones as we were talking about. A minute 0.97. Trespasser is rapid.
Yeah, Trespasser has been a little bit more consistent, lapping good times on the board. We're not talking about like big differences, a couple tenths here and there, but Trespasser has kept in the same area, whereas Gabor has lost 1 or 2 tenths every like couple laps. And there we see Trespasser through, had a good slipstream overspeed and got past Gabor. But now we have to see what is Gabor's counter-attack move. What will he decide to do?
Yeah, Rony's very useful facts and information pre-race confirms that Gabor has won 7 of the last 8 races in XL, or 9 out of the last 12, so he's pretty much dominated 3/4 of the last 12 months. So if he loses here, it will be a rare defeat. So Trespasser wants to become one of the few winners in XL since we've been running the series in the last year or so. Gabor's not going to give up without a fight. And yeah, it's his choice if he can actually bump draft him now with Unite 1.5 seconds behind his teammate. So Gabor has a decision to make. He has a little bit of thinking time. Maybe he'll just do a traditional pass on the start-finish Miika and try his luck there.
Yeah, knowing Gabor, he usually will go for the overtake. And here we have Harmony versus Rony himself. Rony, after the pit stop, he has caught up to Harmony already. And there he goes. He got more speed over Harmony. Oh wait, no. He's going outside. Speed kind of changes so quickly. The speed difference, the one moment it looks like the other car is going much faster, but then the turn it changes the direction and it's the other way around. It's just so remarkable with this car. But can he have the overspeed here now? He's still on the outside of the slight right-hander king. Yes, he's fast for right now.
Yeah, and now here was what I was thinking about 40 seconds ago. Gabor on the start-finish straight makes his logical overtake. Trespasser looked more comfortable in the second portion of this sector after the parabolica. So here he goes. He's gonna try and use the counter attack nice and early. They're waiting for the 50-meter board thereabouts, yeah, or even later than that. Oh, Trespasser almost drifting with the rear tires in this front-wheel drive 1-liter engine mini derivative car. So Gabor may be able to put the shoe on the other foot now and figure out what to do as Trespasser puts in the block. More pitters here to jam in the pits. So he is going to try and stay ahead of Omar. And yeah, he's a bit slow on releasing the clutch, but he should be okay to stay in 17th for now. Trespasser hanging on to this lead for dear life, but definitely Gabor. He'll get slipstream for the next 20 seconds uninterrupted. He's got no distractions behind. Gabor picks the high line. He has his nose in front now for all 4 tires, Miika. He doesn't want to be stuck in the middle of this corner. Yeah, he's going to put in a cheeky block. All fair, though. And Trespasser will have to try and win on the brakes.
Yeah, despite this lower speeds that we're doing barely 160 kilometers per hour. But you can clearly see how much like overspeed you get from the slipstream. It's in the end, if you can get close enough, it's quite effective. But you really need to get close to get all that slipstream. But these two, they are close to each other. They can get slipstream all the way round and round.
That camera shot from the back of Gabor tells you the complete story.
Yeah.
You can read everything on the front bumper there. All visible. The Evo Star, the 72, the nobody number plate. It's all there. It's fully deciphered in Gabor's mirror. Has to know exactly where to put the car from now on. Has to stay tight to that apex. 2 minutes 23, sector 2 for Gabor. 2 minutes 23.9 for Trespasser. Unite and Clear Air cannot compete with this, so that shows you even the tiniest advantage is enough to keep anyone else away from this critical battle for the win.
Yeah, actually this reminds me slightly of oval racing with all the drafting going on. Like on oval, it's very important to draft and where you want the position to draft and overtakes and as such. So I'm really not surprised that it's Number who picked this combo, since he's known for oval racing. This is just slightly more complex with the corners going both ways.
Yeah, but I suppose on the other side, at least with traditional oval racing, you can complete a lap in about 30 seconds on an intermediate, maybe 45 seconds on a super speedway. But in these cars, you're flat out on the throttle for 90% of the lap. So as I was saying, your ankle or your fingers or your wrist, depending on your preferred method of driving, it's going to be absolutely worn out despite the low speed from this car that develops nearly 100 brake horsepower. So yeah, you've got to stay on the throttle non-stop. You can't let up, no matter how much the agony may take you down. You've just got to put up with it. And again, the swap between our 2 protagonists so far, leaving Unite just with the best seat in the house, but he just cannot stay anywhere near them.
Yeah, Jonas just enjoying the fight, watching and hoping that those guys in front of him make any mistakes so he could catch up. But he's just too far away to get any slipstream or any advantage. He can only try his best and hope for the best. But these guys, they are very experienced, they are very skilled. They're not gonna make many mistakes.
No, it is very unlikely. Contact could potentially scupper them, but Unite with a very good first sector there, minute 0.9. It's just a tenth off Trespasser, but Gabor having to negotiate the position with Trespasser. He lost it at turn 1. He's trying to get it back. And yeah, that will have affected his ability to take his preferred lines in the lap so far. And TJ in 4th also is begging Unite to slow down, but he's not going to get his wish. He's all by himself there. Whereas Number in 5th does have fierce competition, just about a second behind him if he's willing to slow down a bit. And we just had a glimpse there of the battle for 15th, 16th. But I think it's just too much to ask for Hermione at the moment. Yeah, there we can see Michael and T-Bug. They are both really, really encouraged by what they see so far. The fact that Number is not able to break clear of them, that will definitely lift their spirits. And TJ has to use his ultimate pace. He cannot let up. He doesn't have the slipstream partner, so he just has to put in ultimate lap times every single lap that he can. So we're nearly in double figures. It's been pretty much about half an hour at this stage. Another 40 minutes to go or thereabouts. So yeah, we're not even at lap 10, but we're getting close.
Yeah, the halfway mark is closing at a very good rate, so we're getting in there for sure. And so far, we expected this not to be eventful, but there's been action going all around, which has been a very pleasant surprise for me.
Yeah, that's the key, really, for a good broadcast, is that there is something at stake. Whereas, imagine if Gabor and Unite were dominant 1 and 2, they'd probably just be having a bit of fun. They'd be under no stress. Whereas at least with Trespasser, he doesn't care for Sidus cooperation. He just wants to win the race outright, and that gives those drivers a lot of competition and prizes to think about. And our battle for 5th is hotting up nicely. Watching from the roll bar of Michael, he's got lots to think about there with T-Bug. Then Tamuli, Johnny SVK and Stephen Martin, they'll just be out of shot here. They are on the start finish straight now, so another 5 cars are ready for action behind Number. Let's see how they get on. They're all pretty consistent by themselves. And now another example of a battle that is keeping this race very exciting, and it just comes to an end, as a matter of fact, because Crash chooses to pit his car right now, just before halfway.
Well, that's a jinx and a half.
Yeah, well, I suppose it was a sentence that needed to be finished a lot quicker than I finished it. Oh, is he going to miss the pit box? Oh, he has, but he just gets away with it. In real life racing, that would be frowned upon. Just about. Oh no, he's
moved and he can't pit again. Oh no.
Oh, that's a race ender in reality. 5.73 seconds stationary, not enough to serve as mandatory. And if he's going to be in the pit lane by himself for another 30 seconds, then that is race over for Crash. There's no way he's going to beat Omar unless he chooses to take a penalty.
Yeah, he should just take the penalty.
Yeah,
it should be less than losing the time on the pits.
That's a fair point. He will likely take the penalty and try to beat Omar and Jam on track, but yeah, at the moment Jam is definitely in range to pick up that position. It's more Omar, who is doing an admirable job with that suspension damage that he picked up when he struck the tire formation just at sector 1 split line. So Crash will be doing extremely well to finish any better than 16th at the moment that he currently holds. So yeah, big job for Crash. There's a little bit of separation between the leaders. Talk to us about it, Miika. Go ahead.
Okay, I can take it. So, as you were saying, the cars are somewhat separated all around the track, so we might as well run the order down a bit. So, Trespasser still holding the lead. He built a slight gap over Gabor, and Gabor hasn't been able to attack him again. He's just outside of the slipstream range. That's half a second between those. And Unite he's still watching this battle from third place. Not really able to make anything out of it, just following there. Trying to make his best, but ultimately his pace isn't quite there. DJ following him somewhat close behind, still very far away from any attack range. And here is Number, the man who chose this combo of car and track. Solid P5 for him. That's a very good one. T-Bug, he's been surprising me as well. Usually he's pretty strong on the qualifying, but he loses out on the first couple laps of the race and isn't able to carry on very long. But this time he's getting to the halfway point and still going on very well on P6. And he's followed by Michael Malak, who was having a battle against T-Bug, but who is actually now fallen into the hands of Teemuli, falling just right behind. And that's less than a second already.
Box. Yeah, his number has come up, and he's ready to pit. And there's Gabor, indeed. Yes, Gabor in the pits.
Gabor's made his pit stop, and Number was just crossing there, slightly compromised exit from pits for Gabor, as he had yield and not crash into Number, who was just coming up from behind. But I don't think he lost too much time there. Back to our order. Here's Johnny SVK, who climbed now up to P7 after Gabor and Number pitted from ahead. And again, there's Steve Martin, who fell just behind. Oh, he got just past Gabor. Gabor couldn't keep up ahead of Steve Martin after pit stop, but no, he shouldn't have any problems getting back ahead of him in a moment of time. You might actually see the overtake coming right up here. He's already got the slipstream. Yeah. And is the Oru chicane coming up? Gabor sending it inside, and he should have this line. He's well ahead of him. And Stephen Martin, he's not gonna fight it too hard.
No, Stephen knows what his objective is, and I'm afraid it's not going to be taking on Gabor at the moment. Maybe if something dramatic happens, yeah, it could be possible, but Stephen knows he has crucial points to pick up here today, and there's no use worrying about Gabor when his competition is just in about 5 seconds or so up the road. So yeah, he's going to let him on his way, and he'll try and follow Gabor's lines, see what he can pick up. Now that he's well clear of him, so we're on board now with Stephen Martin. His iconic white and pink liveries. I'll never miss his cars either, and because I've driven some of his liveries as well. So yeah, that's nice to have the guaranteed paint scheme. You never have to think of anything too extreme or wild. You just pop in the same color scheme that works all the time. So yeah, Stephen Martin knows if you can beat his almost namesake Martins, and that'll be a good result. And if you can get anything off the likes of Johnny or Teemuli, then that'll be a bonus.
Yeah, J Martin's having a good one. I'm not sure if he had a bad start or if he fell down, but he was certainly a few places further behind at the early stages of the race, but he's climbed up back to P10. So that's a good effort for the first half of his race. Yeah, behind him is
the Number. He does prefer his long gear ratios. I don't think he panics about lap 1 action as long as the internet holds up. So I think that was what Stephen had in mind. So yeah, he's now starting to pay the dividends for that particular setup call. But Number here, of course, he's pitted just recently himself, and his chance to undercut a fair few drivers, it's definitely possible. But he wants to climb all the way back up to the P5 sort of position and see what he can do from there.
Yeah, Rony himself, P12, he had his usual early pit strategy. All right, on lap 1 on. Oh, he's went wide. That's not how you want to take this corner. You're gonna lose some time there. Let's see if the last chicane will go any better. That's crucial for the speed through the...
Here he's all over the place here, Rony.
Yeah, he's sliding a lot. That's a tricky one. But
Might struggle
let's
to
hope
beat
he
Johnny. Johnny SVK, 10.5 seconds pit stop. And once he gets back on the power, then Johnny should be a big contender here for a strong result. Or Guy also comes into pit, so yeah, we're going to be side by side for a moment. But Rony will, of course, have much higher speed for the remainder of the straight. So, Johnny SVK or JSK for short, he will not be able to keep position against Rony, who pitted on lap 1. But definitely he'll be on the ball very quickly. He can actually hit the brakes. That'll allow things to equalize a little bit. And yeah, no doubt about it, Rony versus Johnny is going to be a race-long battle, as we are officially past halfway.
Yep, and joining Rony versus Johnny SVK might be magic right here, P13. He followed Rony with the early pit strategy just after lap 2, and he's been on a very similar pace to Rony, as they're not very much separated here. After a magic P14, that's actually Harmon already, who we have seen fighting many cars today. Still going on very well. He's usually the one who's getting lap, but I doubt at this combo he's not getting lap. He shouldn't be. This is a pretty good race for him as well. Our guy hanging out in the 15th place. Oh, getting it wide. Oh, take it. There we go. He got it back under his control.
Yes, our guy, I think he would have lost about a second there on the grass, just having to avoid any heavy understeer, make sure it doesn't get any worse. He should be okay now. Once again, tire temperatures are good. Maybe rear left suspension is a concern, but Omar, if he's still going with big damage to the spring, then I think our guy should be able to cope with that. You can just about tell from the cameras. Well, yeah, definitely Omar's car is really obviously in a compromised shape there. But yeah, it's just one of those things where he just hit the tower of tires and picked up even heavier damage than what normally should happen. So I think, yeah, our guy he should be alright, but definitely Omar's a lot quicker this lap, and if you can stay patient, then they could have a battle. Yeah, nothing too significant in terms of car versus car battles. T-Bug versus Michael is close. I think T-Bug and Michael do need to pit eventually. And Trespasser gains a very notable about 3/4 of a second, and his lead is growing to nearly 4.5 seconds. It's absolutely remarkable. The Trespasser has left Unite now struggling. So Gabor now that he will be lapping across the line now. 3 minutes 37.96. So he's still on good pace there, Gabor, but Unite just not able to do a thing about it, and it's just getting harder and harder for him to stay in touch. So TJ, I think he'd be saying, look, work together with me and we can get you a safe 3rd place and have a bit of fun while we're at it.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see, Michael, he's coming very close. He should. Oh, I'm not sure if he can get the slipstream. It looked like he was much closer, but maybe he's just not quite there. Okay. He's definitely closing in, but not quite in the slipstream yet. Yeah, they come through the Eau Rouge. Seems like T-Bug might have lost a little bit of time there against Michael, and now Michael is getting much closer and should be in the slipstream range right now, and maybe have the attack on this straight or to the next braking zone.
Yeah, T-Bug letting them know with the hazard lights. either I'm going to have a fight or else just do what you're doing and we can work together. So we'll see what comes of this. Michael, very trustworthy driver we know for many years at this stage. He prefers to take the big right-hander up the hill. First gear for Michael. T-Bug stays in first himself, but definitely advantage to Michael if he can just cut in. T-Bug will have absolutely no defenses left, so yeah, it's optimum cornering speed for Michael, and he's made the overtake.
Yeah, that's a very solid pass from Michael. T-Bug, I'm not sure if he was just trying too hard or if he just took it extra careful there, but that was definitely not the optimal line that he went through. He kind of allowed Michael to make it easy pass. But maybe T-Bug can stick here just behind Michael and keep following him. And they can work together. And that's also Tamely quite close behind them. Only 1 second away. So he might join the battle if these guys do anything funny with each other.
Yeah, you don't need to get the argy-bargy out really until the last lap. Because if you just remove each other's racing lines, you take someone's racing line off them, you're just going to take away from yourself, and it's going to allow competitors right into range. And speaking of which, there's your teammate Tamuli. He's getting closer and closer, comparing split times. He's a second quicker than T-Bug. Michael about a 10th down here on the Zafiralis car. The sole entry for the team today. Trespasser in the pits, so this is big. Race leader for now in the pits. So Gabor coming to the final chicane now. There's not going to be much in this. Miika 10.43 refuel stop for Trespasser on his way. But Gabor is going to be at full racing speed. It's going to be close.
Yeah, and let's remember Trespasser, he had that very long first gear. That was a slow start from the pits again from him, as we saw in the starting grid. So Gab should be able to get quite easily by there. Oh no, he's
Maybe
not getting by. Oh, Trespasser has managed to save so much time there against Gabor that he stayed ahead. But Gabor still having the overspeed. He'll
it's going to
be
close
closing
down.
very, very close there. Let's see if he can do any moves on the first turn here. No, he quite can't. But can he pick up the slipstream following this? Hard to say, he's definitely getting close.
He has to be absolutely ruthless through the Faux Rouge to stand a chance. Trespasser has range at the minute. It's going to be too much to ask at the moment, so it's all down to the full born attack here. We know what Gabor can do even in the most difficult of combos when he sets his world record times, and that looks solid. He needs to be even better in this chicane as well to make it possible. Oh yeah, Trespasser a little bit bouncy there, almost hitting the grass. So Gabor is as close as he can be without getting slipstream. So he's got to rely on his braking power now, while Trespasser certainly has a little bit extra fuel on board, maybe 1 or 2% more. So Gabor using that momentum as best he can. He's holding the middle of the track more rather than cutting in like you would with a faster car. Yeah, definitely these more modest Chargers are very fun to watch on their day. And now the battle for the temporary lead. It's TJ in front, so yeah, they found their union here, and TJ has a chance to lead the pack for now.
Yeah, let's see if they actually work together, or if Yuna just lost his space somewhere and TJ was able to catch him up. I wonder, Yuna, he should be strong. He was doing good, so he might have just yelled so that they can work together. But now this is getting intense with them. If they start battling, they're certainly just gonna lose time. But maybe United will be calm enough and stay behind and maybe bump draft or just keep switching positions on straights as not to lose time.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's really up to him now on the start-finish straight. His faith in the bump draft on the back straight before the hairpin. It's definitely shaken about what happened earlier when Trespasser had a 15 kilometer an hour roughly advantage when Unite actually made Gabor's car slow down rather than speed up. So I think now is the right place to have a bump draft if he's going to do it. Yeah, these two have to pit sooner rather than later. They definitely don't want to be caught by anyone else before they have to pit. With Michael Malik third and T-Bug in fourth. They're a bit too far apart, but yet here we go, the swap around on the straight. Unite is back in front. TJ should have time for one last dose of the slipstream or the bump, whichever preferred. Yeah, it looks like he's going to bump him.
It's getting a little bit hairy there. They can both keep it under control though. I'm not sure if that would be the optimal if those touches, if they send them sideways, they're gonna lose time and speed. And here's Trespasser again against Gabor. Gabor is on the outside, trying to make it pass, but Trespasser, he's having the inside line, he's defining the corner. It's like he's running a bit wide and Gabor is trying to cut onto the inside. Can he make it? Yes, it looks like Gabor can stick it, having a little bit more speed coming to the exit off the corner.
Yeah, Trespasser must have made a mistake because I suppose he had the 3 42 with the outlap, I suppose. Yeah, that explains it. But Gabor getting really close now. He's as close as he's been since they've picked up their rivalry again. Teases that grass on his left. It's only minuscule, so they can carry on. Yeah, the split times are inseparable. Oh, wiggle there, using too much power, and that grass definitely is ready for Gabor to make a mistake. So Trespasser is now back to full racing speed, and he's going to watch out for Gabor. He'll be inviting the use of the curb here. Trespasser now cannot use it with his opponent right there. It would just have been an avoidable accident. And Gabor is now ahead. Trespasser will get him back maybe later in the lap. Yeah, for now he's just gonna climb the crest. Oh, Gabor right on the accelerator now, second gear.
Ooh.
So that's unorthodox. Maybe that was part of the plan. So yeah, Gabor in second gear, maybe. That was on purpose, but definitely something he wasn't doing that often, to my knowledge. So Trespasser gets position back.
Yeah, we're at the moment that these guys, they are just switching places. And reminder that meanwhile they are P6 and P7 right now. They're everyone in front of them. They haven't pitted yet, so when they pit, they should be coming to the lead of the race quite easily. So this is a battle for the win that we are looking here.
Yeah, this is effectively the winner's trophy at stake between these two. With lap 1 certainly favouring Gabor and Unite off the line. Trespasser has fought his way back after that start where he had the long first gear. And now this head-to-head will definitely be of interest to TJ and Unite. They're lapping reasonably well, but not enough to cause any concern. TJ is on pace at the moment. He will be on course for a better lap than these two, but Unite has dropped off the pace, so maybe Unite should pit now or the next lap just to get it out of the way. And he has absolute freedom behind him, and he can probably slot into the gap left behind Gabor and ahead of Martins. So yeah, it would be wise for Unite to think about his pit stop. Whereas TJ, 3 minute 37.55. That's a very, very good lap time, almost the best of the entire race.
Yeah, they're keeping up a very good pace, even though they are fighting each other. Gabor, he's once again going alongside and taking the position for himself for right now. But you can see Trespasser, he is eager to stuck it right behind Gabor, get a little bit of slipstream there, and now he's just accelerating, going to come up again and take the position. is just the straights are so long at these speeds that it allows switching the position multiple times in one straight.
Yeah, you can make plenty of movements on the straight before it's time to slow down. I just realized that T-Bug, after making his pit stop, he was startled by the fact that his repair damage request was enabled, so that actually cost him probably a second compared to what he would have wanted. So Martins picks up the scraps left behind with that miscalculation. So well done to Martins for now, but on board with Gabor. This is going to be quite special now. They're both in absolute prime range in the sector times, 1 minute 0.7 versus 1 minute 0.8 for the two contenders. Gabor may be able to repeat what we saw a lap ago and use the curb to keep him at full throttle through the long right-hander. And Trespasser will come back at him at a later stage. Yeah, there you go. Trespasser not allowed to make contact with Gabor there. Would just take one of them off at the very least. So there we go. Gabor back in the lead with another 7 laps to go thereabouts. Or 6, I beg your pardon. About 6 laps to go. And these two just will not let up now that they've got their pit stop out of the way. They're going to probably catch up to Mooley in a lap or two, unless he pits first. So these two should be free to race until the checkered flag flies.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any concerns for these two. They were leading the pack quite comfortably, so they can just fight each other and they should be able to reach the lead anyway, unless they make some mistake and spin out or something, but it doesn't seem any likely. Trespasser, he's just there looking at that rear bumper, and so is Gabor. These bumper cams, they are really cool as they really show how close they get to each other. It's a matter of like inches or centimeters, whatever you prefer. And
Absolutely.
even at these speeds, it's so beautiful when you have that certain kind of a respect and skill to go side by side and so close to each other and keep it clean.
That's absolutely right, Miika. Yeah, it is a delight to have this competition unfolding before our eyes. And there's still lots more to go. 3.5 minute laps at a time. Still plenty more to do before we know who our winner is going to be. TJ and Unite, well, they're showing first and second, but they have yet to pit. So that explains their call. Oh, Trespasser are really close to the tyre barrier there. And that's going to invite Gabor for another overtake. Oh, almost making bumper-to-bumper contact. And Gabor has about a mile an hour advantage over the line, 0.02 of a second between them. Imagine if that was the conclusion to this race rather than lap 17. It would be incredible. But Gabor PB, 3 minute 37.24, better than his qualifying run by 100th of a second. And now Trespasser returns to the lead of the line for now.
I mean, if these guys can keep it the same thing up for the next 4 or 5 laps that we have remaining, we might just actually see that kind of a finish, that it's gonna get close. And if that is gonna be happen, I think we're looking at one of the closest finishes of RDFR XL history. Which is maybe...
That is plausible.
Yeah, just maybe a little surprising considering the combo, but always a good surprise.
Without a doubt, yeah, to have a close finish here for the victory. I doubt many would have put their money on that. It would have been anticipated that one driver would have the advantage and they could break clear. But again, it has to be a mutual respect between these two drivers, otherwise their incredible form will just be inefficient. Like, they'd certainly still win the race even if they took a lap or two just to ruin each other's lap times. But right now they are cooperating nicely and they're closing further and further in on Tamuli by a couple of tenths at a time. Oh, close there up the hill. Gabor this time, yeah, he does have that second gear technique that when it works, it seems to be absolutely, just a absolute joy for him to control the car that way, whereas most other drivers just prefer the first gear up the hill for better application of the torque. So Gabor with that little extra alternate approach, and now they're back on the level playing field. Fourth gear for Gabor. Trespasser still in third, so yeah, that's a crucial difference compared to if they just had the exact same setup.
Yeah, that's where you really can see the difference between the gear races. Trespasser having the longer first gear, he's able to utilize the first gear much better on that corner. But of course the downside is starting off from standstill, like in the very start of the race and from the pits. But Trespasser, he has managed to fight back even from those setbacks of the setup. And he's now there with Gabor. But Gabor is making a really good use of his setup of going with second gear on that particular corner, keeping up with the pace.
Trespasser is not going to be as quick out of the corner here, and the lead has transferred several times between these two. I suppose, yeah, it's still the net lead once they're actually allowed to take positions from those who've yet to pit. A fantastic lap there by TJ, as a matter of fact, at 3 minute 37.17, almost the best lap of the entire race, just 200ths off the marker set by Trespasser. So TJ all of a sudden looks like he's going to finish third after all, depending on how his pit stop goes. And there's Tamuli in the spot now, 10.335 without service. So he followed my preference, which was just to fill up the tank and never have to think about it again. Just get the stationary 10 seconds and you're on his way. And he should be able to just hold position here, as Martin's not in range at the minute. Whereas T-Bug, I think he'll want to think about making a move on Tamuli, but he has to really hurry up if he's going to do that. But yeah, great strategy call there from the Zaffarellis representative. And he looks pretty comfortable now in 6th position, allowing our big contenders a chance to go through. And now we have Hermione and Crash on camera. So from the battle for the win, it's the battle to not finish last.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Crash ever served his remaining couple seconds on the pit, so he might get the penalty after having a too little time spent on the pit box. But here he's fighting his way. He's not gonna want to be the last on the cross the finish line physically, and he's going there, just trying to get alongside Hermione. Crash has pit twice, so I think he might have served his 10 seconds. So it is actually 40th place right now. And at the overspeed, it's not there. Herman had a very bad exit, so Crash didn't have plenty of room to get that slipstream and get this overspeed. So they're just very eagle going on there. But Crash having slight advantage coming to the first corner. And that's just also, you can see Omar getting right in front of the guys, so it might be a 3-way ball very soon.
Yeah, exactly. Omar still working hard to keep that car nice and healthy, because if he did hit the tire barrier a second time, then he would have to concede defeat. It would be too much to ask of the car to go any further. So yeah, this is a great job from Omar to overcome that adversity when he hit the tires, and he's doing a much to be admired sort of job here, keeping himself fully focused. Of course, yeah, advantage to Crash in this lap so far. Yeah, Omar a little bit wide, so Crash should notice that very quickly and realize, yeah, he's got about 3 or 4 miles an hour of an advantage. So that battle is going to be really, really tasty when they fully lock in and get to working. Since we've reported last, Trespasser has broken from Gabor a little bit here. This lap is indicative, so Gabor nearly 3/4 of a second down, so I have to pull in a big effort through the final chicane to stand a chance. TJ's still going, Unite's still going. It's up to Michael if he wants to pit now or hang on to the very end. And a new fastest lap, TJ. Oh my word, a 3 minute 36.9. That is absolutely sensational.
I'm speechless, and he's not even having slipstream from anyone.
Exactly.
That's completely on his own. That's a very strong lap from him. So he might be getting quite close to Trespasser and Gabor in the end, but of course not close enough to fight. But yeah, that's I'm caught by surprise by that.
That's pretty much qualifying pace that would have been better than just about anything we would have seen in qualifying. There was the magical 3:36 I think Trespasser was looking to get. It didn't quite pay off for him. He may have had a collision with the back marker that cost him that. So TJ is nailed on. He's fully focused and he wants to dominate Unite and make sure third place will be his. And yeah, Michael, currently holding third place, still has to pit, so that should be something else. And now with Omar and Crash, they're now side by side, well, nearly side by side. Maybe the switchback could work out for Crash in the purple, whereas Omar is in the sort of army green. But, yeah, faded green there. It blends well with the grass. That's shade of green. Oh, maybe that could have cost Crash quite badly. May have understeered at the wrong time, but he looks okay. But Omar had the superior exit out of the chicane. Hermione that wants to make sure he can get close to Crash so he can pull up alongside and use that slipstream. So Crash still lapping well the 3 minute 40 range, and Omar cannot afford another 3 minute 41 or else they'll be battling to the end with 2.5 laps to go. And here's T-Bug on the rise now. He has his pass on Martins, almost complete. Oh yeah, he's going to cut right in. No messing about there. Martins will give him a bump and making sure. Oh, too much contact, and that's led Martins through. I think T-Bug will say that was my corner. I had that, and it allows Johnny SVK. He's into the contest as well. He's got the very bright green roof, so that's how you can tell it's him. Whereas Rony, we haven't had a chance to talk about Rony in a little while. He could still finish neatly. Oh, it's so close. Martin's doing everything he can to distract T-Bug. T-Bug knows he's going to make the overtake now, Miika. Otherwise, he's going to lose too much time. A bit more bump drafting. Losing him, yet more momentum.
Yeah, T-Bug, he's not very happy about that contact, and he's getting a bit aggressive here. Let's hope it doesn't end very badly. If I was Martins, I might have let T-Bug back through. That is a bit of neat contact. But they are still racing hard, and Johnny SVK very much catching them up, and they have to be aware of Rony and Magic as well. They're not too far away. So there's a lot to be decided here. But Crash has finally caught up Omar, and he's getting alongside, taking the inside line, braking a little late. But Omar, he's switching back, and that's working for him. That's a good defensive move. But that's just allowing Harmon to catch up. TJ finally in the pit. We'll see where he will settle down. Leaving the pit.
Very aggressive angle in the box. He's 10.6 seconds refuel. He's going to fall to 5th place because Gabor and Trespasser are already clear of him. So TJ, despite those best efforts to get the fastest lap, he's not going to finish any better than 3rd as of right now. Tamuli, though, he's only just getting onto 3rd gear power, 130 kilometers an hour. And yeah, it's too much to ask for Tamuli to beat TJ on pace. So we have what I believe to be the podium set in stone now. It's just how it all develops before the final pit stops for Unite and Michael. Side by side again, T-Bug making that big overtake. It's critical to his fortunes here. He needs to be clear of Martin's number in the pits. Yeah, so Martins has to pit, so he wants to be clear of him. He doesn't want this distraction letting him get anxious. But Martins will have the inside line for turn 1, Miika. It's going to be a big boost to Johnny SVK, Rony and Magic if this carries on. Oh, contact!
Oh.
Martins is going to slide wide. T-Bug's off course a little bit, and Johnny, he's not going to be any way sympathetic to T-Bug. He's going to be side by side with him. So T-Bug getting let down by the contact with Martins, who's gone almost the full distance before his pit stop. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so close.
T-Bug was trying to keep it from the outside, but Martins was just sliding a bit wide and he wasn't aware of that, and there was a little bit of contact. Unfortunately, T-Bug slowed down from that a little as well, just enough to allow Johnny SVK get right on his tail. And now Johnny, he should have the slipstream up for T-Bug. Just in the verge of the slipstream there. And this is gonna be a fight, another fight there for the end of the race.
Yeah, this is the secondary battle we want to pay attention to. It's going to be heated up with 4 drivers in contention for what should be a battle for 6th place, depending on how Michael fares. He's been very quick himself. He's capable of 3-minute 37s at the best of times, whereas these contenders are in 3-minute 38s as their peak. So Michael, if he can pit now, I think he should be safe enough in P6. So if T-Bug et al can also stay calm, they could have an outside shot at it. Rony is very quick in this first sector, and he should be able to keep that up now as we reach the sector 2 split in just a moment. And on the inside it's Johnny, door to door. T-Bug's gonna wiggle his way back into his ideal racing line. So T-Bug, yeah, coming up to the split line now under the Michelin bridge. There it is. Rony 2-minute 24, so he's a second quicker on this lap. So we're going to have a thriller for potentially the win if Gabor can find some way back against Trespasser, and maybe again for 7th place, maybe 6th at a stretch, as T-Bug versus Johnny SVK. It's absolutely incredible, this stuff.
Yeah, there was a contact between T-Bug and Johnny SVK. It was scary looking, a little bit of lag involved, but luckily they were both able to continue without any major incident. Unat taking the pit from the leading position. He's gonna go drop down into P4. That should be.
Oh, damage repair for Unite, and that could cost him 5th. Michael also in the pits. Oh, 9
seconds be a long repair for Unite.
Longer than desired for Unite in the pits. So Tamuli, he could possibly sneak in here, get close to Michael on the last lap, and see what he can do. But yeah, Johnny SVK ahead of T-Bug now. The last lap underway. Trespasser's lead is about 1.8 seconds, and it may be just too much to ask in these design of cars to have to deal with a 1.5 seconds or more to pull out on pure pace. It seems almost impossible.
It seems like
and Michael just going on to 5th.
Yeah, it seems like the top 3 is very much set. Should be 4th and 5th. So really not any fight going on for the top 4, maybe top 5 even. But for P7 we might have the 4-way battle. We are already in the last lap, but they are still quite close to each other. You can see them all, 4 cars in the same shot here. Johnny SVK has broken a bit of lead there from T-Bug, so he's not under immediate attack. T-Bug is the one who is closest to losing place, trying to push the absolute limits of the car, trying to get some overspeed. But catch up T-Bug, and Magic trying to follow Rony's lines there, but he's just slightly too far away to get anything done.
Yeah, it's just too much to ask for Johnny to be caught by T-Bug at the moment. Rony is a little bit closer, but needs to do a bit more. But now, these 3 drivers, once they cross the line, they can complete the last lap. and be classified on the lead lap. So don't do anything really silly, and they should be okay. Yeah, they're ready to go. One last lap of action for these two. They're about half a lap ahead of the others. So Trespasser through sector 2 now. He's almost there. Another minute to go, and he'll be classed as the winner of round 6 of Rony's Tuesday fun race around Aston Historic. He's almost there. Just one real braking zone to go, and then he'll be set free, provided he doesn't suddenly run out of fuel. But I know only one driver's had fuel problems today, so I really would be surprised if anyone else has underfueled their cars today, Miika. So Trespasser almost there, and not quite any neck-and-neck action apart from those three at the back. We'll definitely give them airtime in just a moment.
Yeah, I don't believe anyone has underfueled like Manchester did. He just forgot his qualifying fuel on, so it was unlucky he was retiring on the race. But what comes for the full length of the race, it should be plenty enough, because taking the 1 or 2 extra person doesn't really matter. It is Trespasser who will come along on the main straight and start finish line and lead over the checkered flag here, doing nice waves. Congrats Trespasser, it's a solid win. He kept his pace very well over Gabor, who finished second, not far behind. And DJ, that was a great third place, with the fastest lap even under 3 minutes and 37 seconds. That's remarkable. You know what, his pace wasn't just right there, it was solid, but only P4 up for grabs today for him. And P5 is going for Michael Malak, followed by the Hamlin, my teammate. And here is the 4-pack coming up. They haven't changed any positions, I recall. It got very close between them. Yeah, they stayed in the same order. Magic finishing just behind them on P10, and then we got a couple of cars still coming up. I still see Number coming up in the last chicane.
Yeah,
I totally missed what happened to him.
Race. There he is. Yeah.
He has pitted again, so he's lost a lot of time there. He was fighting for P5 for a long time.
Omar trying to hang on to position here. Sorry, our guy. It's a dilemma about who to show. Yeah, this is the final battle for 14th, 15th, and to finish 16th, the final finisher. So our guy is 14th. Omar on the inside. He may have overcooked a little bit. Watch out for those tires. No, Hermione is loose. He will not have the acceleration required. So Crash, despite needing to pit twice, finishes 15th. Omar has done it. He's kept the 14th for Crash. Then Omar will be yeah, there we are. 15th for Crash, 16th for Omar, and then Hermione will be classified last. But there we go. A rare occasion where every finisher is on the lead lap. Usually there is at least a blue flag for one of the drivers who makes it to the end. But there we go. Victory lane has been duly opened there for Trespasser, one of the few drivers in the last 12 months since last June to actually defeat Gabor in RT4XL in a straight fight. So congratulations, Trespasser. That was well deserved from the pole. He managed to fight his way back and take a beautiful victory.
Yeah, it was a very good drive, and it didn't come easy. Gabor was right there the whole race. They were fighting for several laps, which is a long time with this car, with almost 4 minutes a lap. So they spent quite a good while fighting each other, and Trespasser was the better driver today, faster and more consistent. So very well done to him.
Yeah, and here is a look at our final classified order. It is Trespasser with the victory, 1 hour, 16 minutes and 46 seconds. Lots of accelerating done. Hopefully he can now rest up his body after all that work. Defeating Gabor head-to-head, using that little bit of extra pace that he had. He could win the battles on track as they were swapping the lead many times, but Gabor this time has to settle for a P2. But the championship, even at this stage, it's heavily weighted towards him. He's still very much in control. TJ, well, definitely he made us really marvel at his pace. It was almost hidden away because he didn't show it in qualifying as much. But he got the fastest lap for his troubles, defeating Unite pretty comfortably in the end. Unite was an outside bet to win the race after the first couple of laps, but he just faded a little bit to P4, including the damage repair, of course. Took him another 10 seconds roughly to return to the track than he wanted. And then Michael, really good performance for him to secure P5. He managed to keep Tamuli at bay. Then we have Johnny, T-Bug, Rony, and Magic all within 2 seconds of each other. That was an interesting fight all the way to the finish. Stephen Martin, he's the loneliest driver in the results, who finished less than a minute behind the winner. So he was kind of all by himself for the majority of the evening. And then his almost namesake Martin's 12th place, 56 seconds behind the winner. So another lonely drive, but I suppose he had the issues with his car making contact with T-Bug. Then the remaining finishers, we've Number, who picked the combo. We've Orguy, and then the great show from Crash, Omar, and Hermani, all giving us a bit more to be delighted about. But it was a great drive for Crash, despite pitting twice. We did not get to see Jam, winner Marks, or Martin Capel make to the line either, so they DNF'd. Mad Jester ran out of fuel really early on. He still kept his qualifying fuel load on, so he was easily knocked out of the race there. He'd nowhere to go except to the side of the track. And Haiti Lab didn't get very far himself either. And Naloy Luca out of the race in the first lap, I'm afraid. So we saw absolutely nothing for Naloy Luca. But there we go, 23 cars made the effort. And in fairness, it was a very fascinating combo. Even a slower car, capable of about 160 kilometers an hour, in a massive 5 mile, 8 kilometer track, Miika, it did work out just about in the end.
Yeah, it was much more entertaining than it seemed on the paper, which is of course a very welcoming thing to see. And yeah, I actually enjoyed this a lot. I love these drafting battles. They are quite a bit different on like its flavor compared to the like classical racing, going on the corners and attacking, braking zones and such. It's a bit different set of racing skills required, and these can provide a good entertainment despite these low speeds that we saw today.
Yeah, very much so. And I suppose your plan B, in case we weren't going to have much to talk about, you were saying there in the Twitch chat you had some puns lined up, so I suppose if you want to give us a sneak peek of one before we sign off, maybe if you want to make sure you get to read one of them out on air.
Well, there is one that actually fits a bit of theme for a racing broadcast.
Yes.
It goes something like, I'm addicted to brake fluid, but it's okay because I can stop at any time.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good way to end today's broadcast.
A good closing statement there from Miika. Have your brake fluid in moderation, please. But nevertheless, Trespasser will have the right to pick our combo for the 103rd edition of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large, with World Class Lions providing the sponsorship money as well. Gabor has every opportunity to claim that prize money just in time for the run up to Christmas there, December 2nd. That should be roughly when he can be already declared champion on current form. The advent calendar, nice and early for him if he can open up that check for a nice wad of cash. So yeah, we'll actually not have much RTF4 regular competition because season 1 came to an end last week, and we'll hopefully have a chance to cover that on sim broadcasts on Twitch and YouTube at some stage. So yeah, stay tuned for the channel for them. But otherwise, we are going to have a little bit of a summer break in terms of RTF4, but I'm sure there are other big broadcasts to come before too long that'll keep you excited. But on that note, from myself, Owen Harmon, Miika Särkkinen beside me in the commentary box, and Chris McElroy, who generously took the time to operate the broadcast direction for us today to help the show on the road. Never an easy job, but it's an expert performance there as well from Chris there. And he's not organising the cameras. He does have a lot on his plate, so thank you so much to Chris, aka Elmo, for his time. But nevertheless, let's call it an evening there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.